Alrighty, we're gonna get a little serious, and I'm gonna go ahead and pull you guys into my personal life to hopefully help somebody else or help another parent out with what I was going through because, I didn't know anything about this, when I first started. So my son was diagnosed with autism at 2 years old, being on the spectrum with development delays. But before that, for a while, for like the first 6 to 8 months of his life, I've been realizing development issues, like development issues, and I confided in my mom about it, and she was just like, I'm reading too much into it. He'll grow out of it. He'll grow out of it. But that's a lot of Caribbeans have that mentality. They don't really believe in mental health or any development like issues or stuff like that. They always believe that kids will grow out of it or that's just how they are. But I just felt like there has to be something out there. There has to be a resource. So I know I wasn't tripping. So when my sister came down and she was hanging out with my son, I didn't tell her how I was feeling. I only confided this into my mother. And when she was like, have you ever gotten tested? Because he's doing this and he's doing that. And I think he might be on the spectrum. And I knew it was so hard for her to even tell me that. I knew how hard it was for her to say it. But I wasn't upset because I've been feeling this. I've been feeling it. So we cried together, and I totally appreciate it because she could have just, kept it pushing, didn't say anything, and gossiped about it to somebody else. But instead, she came and talked to me about it. So for that, I appreciate it because that's what caused me to put my shoes on and hit the ground running. So he didn't turn to yet, but I didn't care because somebody was gonna have to help me. So I kind of nagged my doctor till he was 2 years old. I don't think I waited till he was 2. It was like a few weeks before his birthday. And I was like, he's going to see me. He's about to turn 2. So he can't tell me that he can't see him for this until he turns 2. So no, we didn't wait until a few weeks before. But I wasn't playing because I knew something was not like right, So okay, he diagnosed him. For him to be on a spectrum, and he see what I was talking about. So we went to a autism provider, and then she said, and she confirmed with evaluations. They did a whole bunch of tests, and they said, yeah, he is on the spectrum. So when I got that diagnosis, I'm thinking, okay, I'm about to get my baby in therapy. We finna do this. What do I gotta do? No one told me that this was gonna be the roughest year of my life. When my son turned 2, it took 8 months for him to be evaluated into a clinic. Just to be evaluated to go into the clinic. And then when we had that evaluation, we had to wait again for a kid to graduate or leave the clinic for us to go. So it took another few months for that. So everything kind of started at 3 because throughout that rough year, insurance wasn't trying to prove nothing, and if you have financial strain, this is an expensive, healthcare bill. Therapy is not cheap at all. So if you don't have government assistance or a job with good health benefits, you don't be feeling it. But I didn't care. If that means I had to work 4, 5, 10, 8, 20 jobs, I was going to work 5, 10, 20, 80 jobs. If I was going to have 10, 20, 80 hustles, I was going to have 10, 20, 80 hustles because I was not going to sign up for a lifetime of caretaking when there is a possibility that there's resources out there for him to be able to live the life that he can live if the resources are provided. So I was not going to do a disservice for him or myself by living in my denial. So what I had to do was make sure I kept at it. I stayed on top of everything within that full year. And when we got into the clinic, we started off with just, I think, two therapies. It was occupational therapy and feeding therapy because he still have not learned to speak yet. So he didn't know how to chew his own food. So months came by. and I did a lot of work, a lot of work to get him into ABA full time, and to do speech, because we didn't start speech therapy yet. We only had like occupational therapy and feeding therapy. So when we finally got speech first and then ABA came around, it was like heaven sent. Because it's not because he was there the whole day and I had like a break, because that's how parents feel like it's a daycare. It really isn't. That's when you got to put in the most work, because the clinic also gave us counseling, taught us what to do at home. We had homework. The learning did not stop at the clinic. We had to continue the stuff at home. So it was not just the therapist's responsibility, it was our responsibility to continue everything that he's doing at the clinic. We had to mirror his life in both places. So that means I had to neglect my social life. I had to neglect anything that I wanted to do or wanted to be at that time, because it had to be all about him and my daughter. I don't have room for me. And quite honestly, I was okay with it. I was fine with it. So after 2 years of intense therapy, he came from not able to chew and speak, to advocate for himself, to now correcting you when you're wrong. He's fully potty trained overnight and throughout the day. He don't have any behavior issues, and the social issues that we have are so minor that we're working on it, and it's easy to fix. I've always been a big disciplinarian, so my household is pretty militant. I don't play that, okay? I don't play. All right. So from the beginning, just because Jamari's on the spectrum doesn't mean he cannot be disciplined. No. He can be disciplined, and he very much is. He's very respectful, but he's still a kid, and he does what kids do, and that is okay. So I wanted to get on here to let you parents know, don't live in your denial. You're doing yourself and that child a disservice. If you see it, it is it. You know it, okay? Get that early intervention. Trust me, now I never thought my son could be able to lead an atypical life, but he could lead an atypical life. When he starts elementary school, he's not going to ESE. He is going to a general classroom, just because of early intervention. And major disclaimer, this is not for all autism diagnosis, because it depends on where the child is on the spectrum, if they will have that success rate, when it comes to being in that general population there. So I do want to make that clear. There is different children that are on the spectrum that have like intellectual disability and stuff like that. And I'm not speaking toward that, because you will already know if your child has like intellectual disability, like there is some type of disability there. You know what I mean? So I just want to be able to give my little 2 cents there. If it helps somebody, I am so happy that it does. 2 plus 2.
4.
What's 5 plus 5?
10.
What's 2 plus 5?
7.
Good. What's 10 plus 10?
20.
What's 20 plus 5?
25.
Ooh! What's 10 plus 5?
15.
Yeah! What's 10 plus 8?
18.
What's 50 plus 50?
100.
You're so smart. What's 9 times 9?
81.
What's 20 plus 20?
40.
What's 20 times 5?
100.
Good job. What's 100 plus 100?
200.
Can you spell car?
B-U-B-B-L-E.
Can you spell bubble?
B-U-B-B-L-E.
Good.
S.
Good job. You're so smart. I love you. Can you say bye, everybody?
Bye, everybody.